What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and bringing a little nugget to add to the Soul Tribe archive. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Mercury and Sagittarius in the ninth house. This is an interesting place for Mercury to be. But when we talk about Mercury, some of the nature or the functions of Mercury is how we communicate. This is how we think, how we reason, how we understand, how we put things into practical application, take those divine downloads and articulate them, to help them to manifest in this world. And then you talk about Sagittarius. This is a tricky place for Mercury to be because this is where Mercury finds his detriment in one of the signs that he finds his detriment in is in, or they find their detriment in Sagittarius because it's the opposite from their home sign, Gemini. But Sagittarius is ruled by Big Papa, Jupiter, and they're the mutable fire sign. And fire deals with that passion, that will, that creative, that force, that just like, fire. that thing that is brings life. And they are masculine in nature, so there's this active energy. That mutable energy is adaptable, it's changing. And so Sag is the adventurer. They're the ones that are going to, that life has so much to offer. I'm just talking about Sagittarius energy in general. Like life has so much to offer, and there's always an experience that's meant to be had. Let's get on the move, whether this is actually physically, maybe this is through learning, maybe this is through intuition. There's a lot of strong energy that comes with Sagittarius. And then you get to the ninth house. This is an interesting house because this is in traditional astrology, this is the house of God. And this is like your house of spirituality, of religion. This could be of foreign travels, of different cultures, of foreign affairs. This could be of long distance travel, just to name it, of astrologers, of diviners. So when you combine all of these things, some things you want to think about. You want to, one, find out where Jupiter is and see how Jupiter is working. If is Jupiter able to witness this house at all? What is the relationship with it? Two, you'd have an Aries rising. So Mercury would be responsible for your third house and your sixth house. Those things are going to flow to that ninth house area. So some things that maybe to think about with this placement. I think one thing to think about with Mercury being in detriment is that where that Mercury in Sagittarius can be very divinely inspired, I would say, in the ninth house. This could be a lot of inspiration. Mercury in fire signs is very active. But I think the thing where Mercury has trouble in Sagittarius is that just as quick as they come, they go. And this would be someone that I would say, if you have ideas, having ways to jot that stuff down, whether it be through voice memos, hey, great idea the other day, but garbage cans that take care of themselves, whatever that looks like. We're just spitballing right now, but especially if you feel really moved by something. That Mercury in Sagittarius, take time for that. Follow those inspirations. Find some way to document that down, to hold the stuff down. Maybe you need to, if it's coming in real fast, maybe just get some images down, right? Like keywords for this thing. I'm not saying you won't be able to grasp at all the stuff, but you just don't want to let gold just fly off the table, because I find Sagittarius can be really great kind of muse energy. Sort of, again, it's a very inspiring sign that Jupiter really brings this optimism that comes there. And this would be, I think, a really great kind of I think medium would be really something along those lines. Maybe you want to look at scrying. Maybe you want to consider tarot. Something that helps you in experiencing different things, learning. I just did like Mercury Gemini, and so thinking about working with different cultures. Maybe you go to do, just thinking with that sixth house, maybe you go to do stuff around different communities in different lands. Maybe you go to do like a Doctors Without Borders, or maybe you go to do maybe do some work overseas, possibly maybe some sort of communication task overseas. That could be something that's really cool. Learning different languages, learning about different cultures. That's always really advised. And if you don't even necessarily go there, just reading about different things, I think, could be really fascinating. We have the internet. You could be in Japan, you could be in Africa, you could be, so there are ways to work around that and things. And yeah, just really enrich your mind. This is really, I was mentioning the other one, this is really great. I could see taking the experiences that you have and then teaching about that type of stuff. You could go teach languages in different depending on wherever you happen to be living, I'm sure there's a way for you to teach a language of that course in your class and figure out something. So that might even be something to consider. Higher knowledge. When we talk about higher knowledge, when we're talking with the ninth house, sure, you can go to college, you can get some sort of education is fantastic. And I don't just mean just traditional education. Learning about maybe different mythologies, different just innate knowledge that's happening. Look, this is why you got to get this stuff on camera, because things will start flying. And this is just my I got Moon in Gemini, so Mercury and Sag is whoosh, I'm sure it's just cranking. I got Mercury in Leo, so I think that something to pay attention to, any sort of the dreams that maybe come up, any sort of again, sort of divine revelation. This could be potentially very prophetic, but it's just I'm always even getting, I got even a little thing about just thinking about over exaggerating some things sometimes, just over inflating. You want people to take you that's just something that be careful about, just blurting out maybe things, just thinking that you have a decent relationship. I think with get some practice with this thing, understand what can be said, what people can take, learning how to feel, because I think that Mercury and Sag can be just kind of quick to say things and maybe not be considered. Maybe the sensitive water sign maybe didn't want it to hear it like that, or maybe the earth sign, maybe it's too quick for the earth sign. Just some things to think. And air signs probably loving it. keep it coming. But what else? I think I think I fit a lot in that little span of time there, so I'll let you just digest that for a moment. But I would love if you happen to have this placement, or if you know somebody who's working with this placement, leave a comment down in the description box below and how that may be translating in your world. And also too, just a little sidebar, if you want to, a couple sidebars, if you want to learn how to work with these places, ninth house Mercury, I'll have you going all over the place. You're going to learn all types of things with me. But if you want to work with me more personally, all the services are down in the description box, so definitely check that out. And there's also a link for my other channel, The Chariot and Friends, where I talk about the lunar shenanigans and release videos every time the moon changes sign. So if that's something where if you have Cancer placements, or if you just want to work out with the moon, we all benefit from that. Definitely subscribe to that. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising the vibration through the roof, Prophet, Sage, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.